Hi, I'm Shawna Brown, an attorney in the Elder Law and Trust and Estates Department here at Mandelbaum Barrett. And today I'm very excited to talk to one of our newest associates, Sara Lerner. Thanks for being here, Sara.
Thanks so much for having me.
I wanted to do this as a way to get to know Sara and introduce her to everyone if you don't see her every day or work directly with her. So first, Sara, tell me about what department at the firm do you work in and what kinds of matters do you work on?
Sure. So I work in the tax, trusts, and estates and elder law departments. So it's kind of a range of different tasks that I work on within those departments. Um, if I'm doing more of the estate work, I'm doing a lot of estate planning. I'm meeting with clients, helping them to determine what makes the most sense for them for their estate plan, and then drafting those documents um, so that they have their estate plan, drafted, ready to go, properly executed, et cetera. And then we also do a fair amount of estate administration, which means we're helping people after someone passes away to administer their estate. And that could be going through the probate process with them and assisting them with that. It could be um, helping them to make sure that assets go to the correct beneficiaries. It could be appointing an administrator if there is no will and the estate needs to be to go through the probate process. It just depends. And that brings up a very wide range of issues that it's always interesting to work on those matters. And then in elder law, I am getting experience with doing some asset protection, Medicaid planning, guardianship work. Um, yeah, there's a lot of different types of work, which is partly why I love this area of the law. And I find it really interesting because there's never a dull moment. There's always something new and different to work on, to learn some different fact pattern that you're presented with.
Well, I agree 100%. There's never a dull moment, and we're always learning about new kinds of matters, no matter how experienced we are. So that's great. So, how did you choose this area of law, and what do you like about it?
Um, so I basically kind of stumbled into it. This was not what I had imagined I would be doing when I went to law school. I initially thought I was going to be doing more criminal law. And then I realized that, I don't know, I was more drawn to civil matters. Um, I had a number of clinic internships where I got exposed to different types of civil work, mostly litigation, but I was doing some elder law and disability law as well, which I really, really enjoyed. So I had a sense that I wanted to do that. And then, initially when I left law school, I had a clerkship in New Jersey family court. And that was very interesting. And I learned a lot, but it was intense. And I realized that family law is not necessarily for me. I think it takes a really specific personality to be, wanting to be in an environment with so much anger and, spite. And maybe that's just because I was in the court. And, I think that's only a kind of fraction of what family law actually looks like. You're dealing with the people who are already at the point of litigation. But anyway, I decided that I wanted to sort of really stick with the elder law path. And then estate planning tends to go hand in hand with that. And that's kind of how I ended up with estate planning work. And I really enjoy both. Like I said, I find it really interesting. Um, I'm learning so much every single day. Um, so it keeps me kind of fresh and yeah, it makes the day go by very quickly.
Well, I'm sure your day goes by very quickly because not only are you doing all these different kinds of matters within these departments, but you also are admitted to and actively practice in three states, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So
Right.
how are you managing, practicing in three different states with different rules and different protocols? How's that go?
Right. So there are a lot of CLEs that I have to complete. But besides that, I think it's like On the one hand, it's difficult, no question. I have to learn three different bodies of law, basically. And I have to know what to look for. I have to be able to issue spot in three different jurisdictions. I think it's helping me to become a better lawyer, though, because I have to look a little bit more closely and I'm not necessarily taking anything for granted. For example, in an administration case, where each jurisdiction is actually really different. New York is very different from New Jersey, is very different from Connecticut. Um, so yeah, it definitely keeps me on my toes, but I think that's a good thing. Um, yeah,
I would agree with that. And I think it's great that when a family comes to us and they have, properties in multiple states or someone passed away in one state but had assets in another, we can kind of help them figure out how to streamline the entire process. So I think that having people in multiple states is so important.
yeah,
So not only are you a lawyer, but something that we actually have in common is we're both lawyers and we're both mothers of two.
that's right.
So tell me, how do you balance working and family?
Still figuring it out. It's really a work in progress. I think what I'm coming to realize is that I can't be a perfectionist when it comes to like being the perfect mom or being, the perfect lawyer. I'm a good lawyer, but like you have to, at a certain point, compromise and you have to be able to prioritize. And, coming from a background of like being kind of type A and wanting to be a perfectionist, that's required some personal growth on my part. But again, I feel like that's a good thing. Um, and, it's just, I love having both of these aspects of my life. I think I would go crazy if I were in the house all the time with the kids. Um, and likewise, I think I would go crazy if I were doing this, you know, morning till night every single day and on the weekends. So I think it's good to have that kind of balance. Um, but it's very much a work in progress. I haven't figured it all out yet.
No, I don't think any of us ever have. So I understand that certainly.
Yeah.
And tell me finally, what drew you to Mandelbaum Barrett? And like, what are some things that you hope to work on or accomplish while you're here?
Yeah, so I was really excited about this opportunity at Mandelbaum for a couple of reasons. First of all, I really wanted to get into elder law. I had experience in trust and estates and a little bit of experience in elder law, but it was sort of limited. I wanted to branch more into government benefits work, into guardianship work, and I wasn't really doing that in my last position. Whereas at Mandelbaum, we do a lot of that. We even have Donnie who prepares Medicaid applications, which is kind of unique. A lot of firms don't do that. Um, the chair of our department is a certified elder law attorney, which is also kind of unique and rare and special. And I really wanted to learn from someone with that level of experience. And then we should mention I work in Roseland and I work in Connecticut.
Right, right. Yeah,
So
you're all over the place.
yeah. So my
Intrepid
my
traveler.
right, I have two offices and I basically have two different supervisors. So Richard Miller is one of my supervisors. And that, I do estate planning for him, but I also do a lot of elder law with the elder law department in Roseland. And then in Connecticut, I do much more estate planning with Andy Fraley, who is my supervisor here. And she brings a very different perspective and style. And it's great to be able to have those counterparts and learn different things from each of those people who are both very, very experienced. And yeah, it's been it's like a learning curve for sure because I'm working with different people and different styles of working, but at the same time, I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds. So I feel very fortunate for that. Um, but yeah,
Well, that's awesome. And I think that's the strength of the firm is, getting mentoring from different people and learning different styles and kind of figuring out your own path. So
right.
that all sounds awesome. And it's so nice to get to know you, Sarah, both in the office and through this. And can't wait to see how you grow and develop here at Mandelbaum. And I'm just excited to keep working with you.
Thank you. I'm excited to work with you also.